Last night, we ended up staying up a little later than normal, but no big deal. It's a Friday night. Today is Saturday morning, and it's the weekend. And we know we have somewhere to be today, but it's not until about 10:30. So there was no worry of oversleeping or rushing and running late to where we needed to be, the appointment that we have set, basically. But at the end of the day, this morning really caught me off guard. And yes, the sun is rising. I think it's about 6 a.m. I don't really sleep. And so something keeps me up, or several somethings. But whatever it is, or may be, or all of it collectively, is painful. Granted, I'm trying to spare my vision, but I don't think that I'm trying to keep back the emotion that I have inside and the bloodshot in my eyes from the tears. But I'm trying to gain a better understanding for what is happening, not only for me and myself and selfish reasons and my family, but also for you. I consider you all to be my family. And it really hit me hard as I come to grips with the realization that I can't fix this problem. I can't solve this problem, because no matter what, there'll be another problem. And then it even gets more complex and stressful and confusing when thinking about the truth or the lies. But then it hit me. The lies are the truth. So when the lies are the truth, what do? How do you prepare? How do you survive? What is the next move? Where should you allocate your resources? Shell petrochemical plant explosion, I believe, was yesterday. It's funny because the oil companies that make a lot of money, these refineries, they'll want to blame the Biden administration for potentially shutting them down and putting them out of business. Although Biden has even said himself that, we'll need oil for at least 10 more years, as all of Congress laughs at him. Unanimously laughs at, like, in unison. While, maybe it's them laughing at us, not him. Maybe this is all part of a plan to exit at the expense of others, get their money out while they can, and move on. I wouldn't be surprised to see a day and age where these oil and gas and pipeline chemical companies become mining companies and battery producing companies. And then only at that point in time, later down the road, will we realize, like the collective we, the general public, it'll be basic knowledge that the truth was a lie. and the lie is the truth. Thinking about central bank digital currency and how rapidly that's moving, how complex and confusing it is, how people are being left in the dark, choices are being made, decisions are being executed, executive orders, banks working with central banks, private entities, cryptocurrency, blockchains, all working together. Only for us to realize, once we are privy to any information, that the truth is it was a lie, and the lie was the truth. But the hardest part about it is trying to make sense of it all of which doesn't make sense, to bring to you all as a means of support, education, information, updates, warnings, alerts, motivation. If I were to ask the average person, what do they fear most? And based on their fear, what one item would they choose to stockpile as much of as possible? I think the answer would be pretty much the same. Comment down below, let me know what your answer would be. What do you fear most? And based on that fear, what item, what one thing would you try to have the most of before the end of the month, before the end of May, before June 1st, before I think FedNow actually takes off in July. So before June 1st, what fear would drive you to stockpile which one item? And now they're trying to redirect and further confuse and muddy the waters more so than ever before of who to point the finger at to blame. The argument now is fair wage, I believe is the term, fair wage. And fair wage is in line with socialism. It's in line with communism. It's in line with universal basic income. It's in line with more lies being disguised and lipstick being put on these pigs as truth. And I'm telling you folks, minimum wage, cool. Increase minimum wage, great. Spend millions, if not billions of dollars fighting to increase minimum wage, lining the pockets of those who will benefit the most from it, and those who at the end think they've won because they've increased minimum wage by a quarter or a $50 or silver dollar or maybe even $2, a $2 bill. Think about it. If you got paid an extra $2 bill every hour, save those $2 bills. They're worth something more than $2. But everyone who has given you this reward, this prize, they're going to take back far more than they've ever given. Far more. They're going to let you believe the lie as a truth that you've won. But the simple fact of the matter is you lost because you were never in the game. What did we see happen in the last 12 months with wages and the impact of increased wages affecting the overall price of consumer goods, commodities, services, utilities, etc. in the economy? If you want more of that, then by all means, let's push, let's fight for fair wage. No different than the cost of living adjustment, the COLA increases that the U.S. Treasury introduces to those on fixed income receiving Social Security and SSI and SSDI and food stamps and EBT and SNAP. They're all retroactive based on the already inflated costs, where the increase that you receive may seem great. Sure, it helps you get by, but it'll never be enough to do better, because they don't want you to do better. They want you to do worse. They want you to suffer. They want you to be on the edge, the brink of collapse, and needing them, voting for them, supporting them, believing them, trusting them, which is quite possibly the worst thing you could ever do, while convincing everyone to point the finger at the corporations, the big companies that are making millions and billions of dollars of profit, while also telling the people that we're going to bail these banks out that are failing left and right, that there's really no way that these banks should ever fail, but we will bail them out because that's how capitalism works. So on one hand, that's how capitalism works. But on the other hand, capitalism is a terrible thing, because capitalism working allows these companies to make too much money instead of the latter. If you know what the latter is, comment down below. Let me know. That way I know who's in the room and who's not. Read the room. Kevin, read the room. I get that a lot. Read the room. What you're saying is going over my head. I don't understand it. My family's struggling. We don't have any money. We don't have any food. We don't have anything to eat. We don't have a future. We can't. I can't. There's no way. Whoa, look, that's what they want. They show you that's what they want, and they prove it to you with something as simple and as trivial as a Walmart store closing in a city, and how much devastation it can bring to a population that is blinded by the truth, which is a lie. Not unable to understand and identify the fact, but perhaps maybe unwilling, conditioned, trained, a cognitive dissonance that would prevent them from really realizing, hey, they're not the problem. But instead, let's create multiple diversions and distractions, okay? Because if it's not the giant companies, if it's not the Fortune 500s, the Fortune 1000s, the Fortune 100s, if it's not the top elite Walmart, Walton family, Amazon, Bezos, Elon Musk, Tesla, Microsoft, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, Berkshire Hathaway, richest, wealthiest of the world, it's something else. And oftentimes the gripes they lie within this country, not realizing that some of the wealthiest people in this world they're not U.S. citizens. But we don't point fingers at them. We don't blame them. But instead, what we do is we shift focus. We further distract, deter, try to throw off the scent. Get you looking over here while we're doing something devastating over there. And instead, hey, why don't y'all just bicker over here about what's a real woman? Okay, y'all occupy your time with what's a real woman, and how about over here we divide black men and women, with passport bros, and then over here let's sprinkle in a little bit of traditional racism. Oh, and then let's add a new version of racism where it's okay to be to talk negatively and have these thoughts and feelings about other nationalities, just because I think that's a good mix of distraction. Let's do that. That'll keep them occupied. That'll keep them fighting amongst one another. They won't think about, and let's put some fear and uncertainty and doubt in the banking system, in the monetary system, in the future of their savings and their checking accounts. They'll never know which way to go. They'll fight amongst themselves. That problem will control itself, and then we'll go over here and do what we've been doing, which is growing, building, investing, building wealth, continuously gaining more control, more power. I really can't believe at this day and age, a topic of conversation is, what is a real woman? And seemingly intelligent people can sit there with a straight face and try to argue it. But that's the truth. And the truth is that it's all a lie. If I sat here and told you I'm a woman, I'm lying to you. But if you believe it, if you agree with it, if you tell others that as fact, then guess what? The lie is now the truth. Think about that. Meanwhile, there are people in countries that don't have power. They don't have running water. Odds are they'll never have the ability to ever hear this message that I'm sharing with you all this morning. And they know the real truth. Perhaps maybe they live a much better life than us for that. All these conveniences and advancements in technology and evolution has also further perpetuated this ongoing cycle of lies becoming truth. But I guess if you have enough money, you can solve almost any problem, right? Just think about it. Just think about those in history who have should have received just consequences for their actions, but because of their financial status. Just think about it like this. Think about it like this. Let's just say R. Kelly. R. Kelly didn't go down, really, until he ran out of money. Think about that. He didn't really go down until he ran out of money. So, with that being said, what should we do? Is that the answer? Should we stockpile as much money, resources, capital, cash, liquid assets as possible? Store gold, silver, precious metals, build investments, a diverse portfolio, multiple businesses, passive income streams, so that we never run out of money, so that we never run out of options, so that we continuously increase our power? It depends. What do you do with that money? What do you do with that wealth? Is it for your own sole personal benefit, or are you trying to help others in the process? Can you help others in the process, or will they then look at you as if you're no longer welcome? Oh, you have money. You have too much money. I do not. So I don't like you and I don't trust you. And that's the truth, which is also a lie, which then further confuses me to no end on how to effectively bring a positive message and change to all of you on every single video, every day that we do this, on a platform that really doesn't want me to do this. It is a bit of a struggle. It is a bit of a challenge. But I think I'm going to continue to fight to succeed and overcome the challenge that has been placed in front of me. Maybe I'll get it tomorrow. Maybe I'll figure it out next week, maybe next month, maybe next year, but I'll keep trying. Because there are those brief glimmers of hope on every single video. A comment, a Patreon message, an email, an Instagram DM, oddly enough, even sometimes in person, where people say, hey, I watch your videos. Thank you. Unfortunately, now we have the added burden, which I knew was coming, but it got here a whole lot faster than I expected, which is AI. And AI is quite possibly going to literally be our downfall. Whereas the Wachowski brothers proved this over 20 years ago when they made The Matrix. One of my favorite movies. Very entertaining, but also very thought-provoking. They thought The Simpsons got it right. But we've been warned by so many before us. Somebody told me that 50% of the people that we see in the world are not real people. They're clones, they're wearing suits, they're aliens. I'm not saying that they're right, I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm not trying to give you any advice really either. I'm just trying to have a conversation with you guys. But when I think about certain things and certain people and their ability to see so far ahead of what was coming and ultimately warn so many others, it kind of makes you wonder, kind of makes you think. Am I one of them? Are some of the other channels you watch, the other content creators, are they one of them too? Where does this information come from? Why do I wake up with these feelings? Why do I have these thoughts? Why do I get these ideas? Why do I do what I do? But then also you got to think that some of these don't have our best interest in mind. When you think about some of the crazy, grotesque, brutal, violent things that happen. It is really, really alarming when you think about it. I try not to think about it too much. I almost need constant distraction. Otherwise, if I get too deep into my thoughts, there's no turning back. Maybe that's why I record so many videos. Maybe that's why I bring you guys so much, because I just need to separate myself from the reality that I almost can't believe is real. Does that ever happen to you? Does that make sense? Reality doesn't seem real. Knowing that at some point in time, my reality will end. If it hasn't already. How do I know it hasn't ended already? You don't. That's the crazy part about it. But what I do know, or at least I feel as though is true inside me right now, is the pain that I feel, not only because of those out there trying to destroy us each and every day, but for those out there who are most vulnerable and likely to be destroyed due to no fault of their own. Sorry, guys.